talk about one last thing before we get on to analyzing our data with some basic functions and some basic plotting. The last thing I want to talk about is the use of dates as data in a spreadsheet. So dates in a spreadsheet are stored in a single column. And while this seems like the most natural way to record dates, it's actually not the best practice. A spreadsheet application will display the dates in a seemingly correct way to the human observer, but how it actually handles and stores the dates may be problematic. And we'll get into this just now. In particular, remember that the functions that are valid for a given spreadsheet program, like Microsoft Excel, are usually guaranteed to be compatible only within the same family of products. And if you will later need to export the data and you need to conserve the timestamps, you're better off handling them using one of the solutions that we'll discuss now. Okay, so what are the preferred date formats? So as you can see in our tables, we've got the dates stored in one column and the time in another column. But it's much safer to store the dates with year, month, and day in separate columns. So let's just add 3 columns in. So to add a column, I select it. So here I've selected B. I right click and I select insert. And that'll insert a column to the left of C. And I'm going to do that again. Okay, so remember we said we actually want to store it in year, month, and day. So now, how do we get the value from our date in the year, month, day? Well, we can either write it, so we could write 2017, press tab to just have to change the format here to general. So this is an interesting thing that's happened. So because of the format that this column is in on my spreadsheet, it's changed my year, which I typed in to be 2017, into a very weird date format. And this is some of the problems that you'll experience when you're working with Excel. So you have to then change it to general and you'll get the number 2017 again. And that's because dates are actually stored in Excel as numbers. And this becomes really important and we'll get onto that just now. Okay, so the month is the 12th month and the day is the 2nd day. Okay, so now I'm going to just reformat those. Okay, and we've got our time here. So now we can plug that in for our whole data set, or we could use a function to do that. So to use a function, what I want to do whenever I use a function in Excel is start with an equal to sign. So we'll get onto some more basic functions later on, but let's just see how we can use functions in Excel for dates. So to start a function, we use the equal to sign, and I want to extract the year from my date column. So I'm going to type in the value year, and you'll see below a little tab will come up with the function year in there. So now to use that year function, I have to open brackets, and it will tell me it needs a serial number. So what I need to do there is select the date column and close the brackets. And if I press enter, and remember I have to change the formatting, it'll give me the year. And I can do the same with the month. So let's say equals month, open brackets, the date, close brackets, hit enter, click on the cell, change the formatting to general. Or you can change it to number, that's also fine too. So let's do the last one, equals to day, open brackets, click the date, close brackets, hit enter. And change it to general. Okay, so how do I then apply this function to all of my rows in my table? Because I don't want to have to write out the function each time. So to do that, all I have to do is highlight, or just select the cell, and you'll see a corner green square. And whenever I hover the mouse over that, the cursor changes from white to black. And then all I have to do is click and drag down all the way to the end of my column. And you'll see that it does the date for us, the year. Now, if I can do this for 2 or more functions as well. So all I have to do there is select the 2 cells with the functions in them. And now instead of clicking and dragging, I can just double click on this corner. And I'll automatically move it to the bottom of my data table. Okay. So now we've briefly discussed the fact that dates are actually stored as integers. And this is really important because it allows the computer to work with the data. So what Excel does is it counts the days from the default of December. So I'm just going to add a cell in here. So it counts the days from December 31st, 1899. So if I just type in the value 0 here, remember our dates are stored as integers, and I change its format to date, you'll see that it's 0 is actually 1900, the year 1900, the month 1, and day 0. So in other words, the 31st of December 1899. Okay, so now if I put in the value number 1, changed to date, you'll see that it'll be the 1st of the 1st, 1900. So that's important. Okay, so now if I took my previous date, which is let's select this first one here. So we're working in the southern station. Go to row 3. I'm going to convert this to a number. It's going to give me a number here of 43,071. So that is the number of days from the 31st of December 1899. Now this is really powerful because what it allows us to do is effectively sort our data by date. And this will come in handy just now. So we also might want to add let's just reformat that to date. We may want to add time to our date. So here we've got year, month, day, and time, and we could actually combine this into one column. But remember, we wanted to separate that out, but I'm just going to show you an example here. So if I said the date equals to, because now I'm doing a basic formula, and I add the timestamp and hit enter, you'll see that it's automatically taken the date and added the time. So now if I format that to a number, it'll come up to some fraction. And you'll see why that's important just now.